The sun dips behind the rows of identical suburban houses, painting the sky in warm oranges and pinks. I lean against my porch railing, sipping a glass of sweet tea, feeling the crisp evening air settle in. My name is Malik Carter, and I worked my ass off to afford this house, a two-story, modern home in a neighborhood where, let's be real, people like me don't always get the warmest welcome. It's not outright hostility, not the kind you see in viral videos where some red-faced man screams at a black family for existing. No, here in Magnolia Ridge, racism wears a cardigan, drives a luxury SUV, and smiles tight-lipped at HOA meetings. It's the unspoken rule that I'm supposed to be grateful to live here. Still, I mind my business. I mow my lawn, say hi to the neighbors, and keep my head down until something changes. At first, it's small. A package that was supposed to arrive never does. Then another. I check the tracking, marked as delivered. Weird. Maybe the driver messed up? I ask around, but my neighbors shrug, offering empty reassurances. Then one morning I step outside just in time to see her.
Karen.
Well, her real name is Linda Hollingsworth, but she's got the haircut and the attitude. HOA president, self-appointed neighborhood watchdog, and, of course, the queen of passive-aggressive Facebook posts about certain people lowering property values. She's standing at my porch, holding my package. My stomach tightens.
Oh.
Malik, she says, feigning surprise as if she wasn't just caught red-handed. I was just making sure this didn't get stolen. You know, porch pirates are everywhere these days. I force a smile. Appreciate the concern, Linda, but I got it from here. She hesitates, her fingers tightening around the box, like she doesn't want to let go. Then, with a saccharine smile, she hands it over. Of course, just looking out for the neighborhood. I watch her walk away, her wedge heels clacking against the pavement, and a feeling settles in my gut. This wasn't a mistake. It wasn't about porch pirates. Linda was stealing my packages. And something told me this was just the beginning. I tell myself it was a one-time thing. Maybe Linda really thought she was helping. Maybe it was some bizarre HOA power move. Either way, I decide to let it slide. But then it happens again. Another package goes missing. This time, it's something important, an expensive noise-canceling headset I ordered for work. The tracking says it was delivered yesterday afternoon, but when I check my porch, there's nothing. I knock on my neighbor Mr. Patel's door. He's in his 70s, always sitting by his window reading. If anyone saw something, it's him. He frowns when I ask. Strange. I did see someone. A woman. Blonde, middle-aged. She took a package from your porch. He hesitates, then sighs. Linda. My jaw clenches. You're sure? He nods. She walked away with it like she owned the place. Of course she did. I head straight to Linda's house, a pristine white colonial with a perfectly manicured lawn, HOA approved down to the last blade of grass. Her SUV is in the driveway, so I know she's home. I knock, hand steady, jaw tight. Seconds later, the door swings open. Linda stands there in her signature pressed blouse and pearls, eyebrows raised like I'm the one inconveniencing her. Malik, she says, fake warmth dripping from her voice. What a surprise. I get straight to the point. I think you have my package. Her smile falters, just for a second, before she laughs. Oh, dear, not this again. What do you mean again? She sighs, like I'm a child throwing a tantrum. You know, these delivery companies make so many mistakes these days. Packages go missing all the time. You should be more careful. I stare at her, my fists clenching. So, you didn't take it? Why would I? She tilts her head, eyes glinting. Unless, are you accusing me of stealing? A challenge.
A dare.
She knows exactly what she's doing. If I push too hard, I'm the angry black man. If I back off, she wins. I force a breath. I just want my package. Linda sighs dramatically. Tell you what, I'll check my security cameras. If I see anything, I'll let you know. She smiles, her voice dipping into something condescending. You should really consider getting cameras too. For your own protection. For my protection? My blood boils, but I keep my face neutral. Appreciate it, I say, voice flat. I turn and walk away, her smug smile burning into my back. I don't have proof yet, but I will. The next morning, I take action. If Linda thinks she can keep stealing from me without consequences, she's dead wrong. I buy a small, discreet security camera and mount it above my door, angled perfectly toward my porch. If she tries anything again, I'll have proof. 2 days later, she does. The motion alert pings my phone while I'm at work. I step away from my desk, heart pounding as I check the live feed. There she is. Linda, in her pastel sweater set and oversized sunglasses, strolling up my steps like she owns them. She glances around, then snatches a package off my doormat. No hesitation. No shame. She tucks it under her arm and walks away, humming to herself.
Got you.
I get home that evening, phone in hand, camera footage ready to go. This time, I don't bother knocking. I ring her doorbell and wait. Linda answers with her usual tight-lipped smile. Malik, what a surprise. I hold up my phone. You want to explain this? Her eyes flick to the screen, but she barely reacts. Instead, she sighs dramatically. Oh, for heaven's sake, Malik. You're making such a big deal out of this. A big deal? I echo, stunned by her audacity. You stole from me. She folds her arms, her expression shifting into something cold. I retrieved a package that looked abandoned. And honestly, with all the crime in this neighborhood, I thought I was doing you a favor. I almost laugh. Crime? Magnolia Ridge is ranked one of the safest neighborhoods in the city.
She scoffs.
You know what I mean. Oh, I know exactly what she means. I want my package. Now. Linda leans against the doorframe, unbothered. I don't have it. I take a step closer. So, what did you do with it? She shrugs. Maybe I dropped it off at the HOA office. Maybe I returned it to the sender. Honestly, I don't remember. I clench my jaw. Then I'll let the cops jog your memory. Her eyes narrow. I wouldn't do that if I were you. I raise an eyebrow. Why's that? She gives me a slow, condescending smile. Well, let's think about this. You call the police, and what's the story? That I, a respected member of this community, stole a package? Or that a certain resident is harassing a well-meaning HOA president? There it is. The veiled threat. She's counting on the system working in her favor. I hold her gaze, my anger simmering. We'll see about that. I walk away before I do something I'll regret. That night, I post the footage in the neighborhood Facebook group. I don't add a caption, just the raw, unedited video of Linda stealing from my porch. The comments flood in immediately. Wait, is this real? I always thought Linda was shady. HOA's gonna have a hard time explaining this one. Then, of course, her defenders jump in. We don't know the full story. Let's not rush to judgment. Maybe she was just keeping it safe? I reply with one sentence. How many other safe packages never made it back? That shuts them up. Linda, however, does not take it well. The next morning, an HOA violation notice is taped to my door. Failure to maintain an aesthetically pleasing property. I stare at the paper in disbelief. My lawn is mowed. My house is spotless. But suddenly, I'm out of compliance? I check the HOA website. The fines start at $200. And if I refuse to pay? Magnolia Ridge has a policy. Repeat violations can lead to foreclosure. This isn't about my lawn. It's about power. Linda is showing me that she can make my life hell if I don't back down. But she just made a mistake. She thinks she's untouchable. She thinks I'll fold. She has no idea who she's messing with. I stare at the HOA violation notice in my hand, my pulse slow and steady. Linda thinks she can intimidate me. She thinks a fine will make me back down. She's wrong. I take a deep breath, then I do what I should have done from the start. I dig deeper. I start with the HOA's financial records. Magnolia Ridge has a resident portal where homeowners can see how fees are used. I log in and poke around, cross-referencing old newsletters with the numbers in the system. It doesn't take long to find something interesting. Over the past 2 years, A suspicious amount of miscellaneous expenses have been withdrawn from the HOA's discretionary fund. Thousands of dollars allocated with vague descriptions like community maintenance and beautification efforts. But here's the kicker. There are no receipts, no documentation, just Linda's name stamped all over the approvals. She's not just stealing packages. She's stealing money. I smile to myself. This is my trump card. The next HOA meeting is packed. News of Linda's porch piracy has made waves, and the tension in the room is thick. Residents murmur as I take a seat near the front, my phone resting in my palm, ready. Linda walks in like she owns the place, chin high, pastel blazer perfectly pressed. She's still smug, still untouchable in her own mind. She calls the meeting to order, her eyes locking onto me with a gleam of satisfaction. Before we begin, she says, we need to address a concerning matter: unauthorized video surveillance in our neighborhood. A ripple of confusion spreads through the room. Linda continues, her voice dripping with false concern. One of our residents has been recording people without permission and spreading misleading footage online. The murmurs turn into whispers. I know exactly what she's doing. She's flipping the script, trying to make me the villain. I lean back, letting her talk. And let's not forget, she adds, eyes glinting, this same resident has also neglected his property, earning multiple HOA violations. She gestures dramatically. We can't allow individuals to disrupt the harmony of Magnolia Ridge. She turns to me, her smile razor-sharp. Malik, do you have anything to say for yourself? I let the silence stretch, the weight of the room pressing down. Then slowly I stand. I do, actually. I hold up my phone. Since we're discussing integrity, I think the community should see this. I tap the screen, and the projector behind Linda flickers to life. The security footage plays, clear as day, in front of everyone. Linda, sneaking onto my porch. Linda, stealing my package. Linda, walking away like it belonged to her. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Linda's smile falters. This is taken out of context. Oh, I'm not done, I say smoothly. Because while I was investigating this, I found something even more interesting. I switch the screen to the HOA financial records. The numbers appear in bold, damning text. For the past 2 years, Linda has been embezzling money from this community. I point to the figures. Thousands of dollars gone. No receipts, no explanations. I glance at the crowd. Tell me, has anyone seen these supposed beautification projects she's been charging us for? Silence. Then a voice from the back. Wait, what? Another. She's been stealing our money? Linda's face drains of color. This is absurd, she snaps, but her voice is too high, too forced. I have always acted in the best interest of this community. I tilt my head. Then you won't mind us conducting a full audit, right? The room erupts. Linda tries to regain control, tries to talk over the chaos, but it's useless. People are furious. Even her staunchest defenders are looking at her differently now. I cross my arms, watching as the empire she built starts to crumble. She thought she could silence me. She thought she could get away with it. She thought wrong. The room is in chaos. Voices overlap as neighbors erupt with questions, accusations, outrage. Where's all our money, Linda? You've been fining us while pocketing HOA fees? We trusted you. Linda's composure is slipping. The carefully crafted image, the power, the control, is cracking under the weight of undeniable proof. She straightens her blazer, trying to gather herself. Everyone, let's not overreact, she says, forcing a smile. These financial records are complicated, and Malik isn't qualified to interpret them. I assure you, everything has been approved legally. I raise an eyebrow. So, you're saying these funds haven't been misused? Exactly. She nods, confidence returning. This is all just a misunderstanding. I glance at the crowd. Good thing I called someone who is qualified to interpret them. Linda frowns. What? Before she can react, the double doors at the back of the room swing open. A tall man in a navy suit steps inside, his presence commanding immediate attention. "Excuse me," he says, flashing a badge. "I'm Detective Jameson with the Financial Crimes Unit." The room goes dead silent. Linda's entire body goes stiff. Jameson steps forward, scanning the crowd before resting his gaze on her. "Linda Hollingsworth?" She forces a tight smile. "Yes? Can I help you?" "We received an anonymous tip about suspicious financial activity involving the Magnolia Ridge HOA. We've conducted a preliminary review, and the numbers don't add up." Murmurs ripple through the crowd. I keep my face neutral. "Anonymous tip?" "Yeah, that was me." Linda lets out a nervous laugh. "Detective, I assure you, there's been a misunderstanding." Jameson holds up a folder. "You authorized a series of transactions over the past 2 years that don't match any recorded expenses. Would you like to explain where those funds went?" Her smile flickers, but she holds her ground. "Of course. I'd be happy to provide documentation." He cuts her off. "Good. Because we requested bank statements, and guess what? Several of these community expenses were deposited directly into your personal account."
Gasps.
Linda turns pale. "Now, if there's a legitimate reason for that," Jameson continues, "I'd love to hear it." Linda's mouth opens and closes. The mask is slipping. I was reimbursing myself for." "For what?" I ask, stepping forward. "Because I don't recall the HOA approving any payments to your bank account." Linda's breathing quickens. This is a witch hunt. These numbers are being misrepresented." Jameson tilts his head. "So, if I pull the receipts for every expense in the last 2 years, they'll all check out?" The room holds its breath. Linda swallows hard. She knows they won't. She knows she's cornered. But she's not done fighting. I see it in her eyes, the desperation, the way her mind scrambles for an escape. And then she pivots. "If anyone should be investigated, it's Malik," she blurts. "He's been spying on residents, violating privacy laws. He fabricated this entire scandal to attack me." Oh, she's really grasping now. "Spying?" I chuckle, holding up my phone again. "Linda, if recording my own porch is illegal, then we better arrest everybody with a doorbell camera." A few people in the crowd nod in agreement. Linda's eyes dart around, looking for an ally, someone, anyone, to back her up. But her usual supporters avoid her gaze. Even her friends are turning their backs. "Let's not forget," I add, my voice cool, "that this all started because you were caught stealing packages." A woman near the front folds her arms. "Yeah, Linda, you were quick to fine us for every little thing, but who holds you accountable?" Another man nods. "I got fined for having my trash cans out an hour late, but you've been embezzling money? You fraud." The crowd shifts from murmurs to full-blown outrage. Linda's hands shake. Her entire world, the one where she ruled this neighborhood, is collapsing around her. Then Jameson delivers the final blow. "Linda Hollingsworth, you are under arrest for fraud, embezzlement, and theft." Gasps fill the room as Jameson pulls out a pair of handcuffs. Linda loses it. "You can't do this," she shrieks. "I'm the HOA president. I built this community. I'm the victim here." Jameson ignores her, reciting her rights as he cuffs her hands behind her back. Neighbors watch in stunned silence as Linda, the untouchable queen of Magnolia Ridge, is led out of the room in disgrace. And just like that, she's finished. Linda's screams fade as the HOA doors slam shut behind her. The room is silent for a beat, then murmurs ripple through the crowd. "She really thought she could get away with it. I can't believe we let her run things for so long. She was always nitpicking our homes while robbing us blind." I exhale, the tension finally leaving my body. The fight is over. I won. The fallout is swift. By the next morning, local news has picked up the story. Linda's mugshot is all over social media, headlines blasting her for embezzlement, fraud, and theft. HOA meetings are normally the most boring thing imaginable, until one of them ends with the president getting arrested. The city freezes her assets pending investigation. HOA members demand a full audit. Turns out, she had been funneling money into a personal slush fund, using our fees to bankroll luxury vacations, designer clothes, and first-class flights. Her house? Foreclosed. Her name? Ruined. Her reign? Over. Justice. A week later, I step outside to get my mail. This time, my package is exactly where it should be, untouched. A few neighbors are outside, glancing my way. For the first time, they really see me. "Hey, Malik," one calls out. "It's Greg from down the street. Listen, I wanted to say, you were right to stand up to her." I raise an eyebrow. Greg was one of the people who stayed silent when I first posted the footage. He clears his throat. "I guess some of us just assumed the HOA had our best interests at heart. Didn't want to make waves, you know?" He rubs the back of his neck. "But, we should have backed you up sooner." I hold his gaze for a moment. I could remind him how quick people were to dismiss my concerns. How they only believed me once the truth was shoved in their faces. But I don't. Instead, I nod. Lesson learned. Greg looks relieved.
Yeah.
Lesson learned. As he walks off, I see more neighbors watching, people who once ignored me, who once questioned my claims, now reevaluating things. They should. That night, the HOA holds an emergency meeting to elect a new president. "Any nominations?" someone asks. Voices call out, loud, certain. "Malik." I blink. "Wait, what?" A woman near the front grins. "You're the reason we found out the truth. You actually care about this neighborhood." Another voice chimes in. "You fought for us when nobody else would." I glance around, taking in the nodding faces, the approving looks. They mean it. I exhale, then smirk. "Well," I say, "I do have a few ideas about how we can improve this place." Laughter ripples through the room. The vote is cast. Unanimous. Looks like I own this HOA now. And trust me, things are about to change.